Welcome to Ink and Fitness. For those who are new to the channel, my name is Anthony. I am someone who went from skinny to fit, and these videos are just purely educational. So this way you guys can take what you're learning, if you are a skinny guy, and you can implement it in your own fitness journey so that way you can get your own results. If you are someone who's looking for a more personalized approach when it comes to this fitness stuff, then please feel free to check out the link down below in the description, where there's going to be a calendar link essentially where you can find a good time to speak with me and see if coaching is a good fit for you. But enough about that. Let's get straight into the video for today, because we're going to be talking about muscle growth and how it actually is super simple. I'm going to break it down for you so that way if you're someone who, let's pretend you're 10 years old, I'm going to be explaining it to you as if you were 10 years old, so that way it's the most easiest thing for you to understand, the most simplest thing for you to understand, because nowadays people tend to overcomplicate the gym, nutrition, rest and recovery when it's really just the easiest thing to do. So let's start first here. Stop overcomplicating things. Nowadays, people tend to overcomplicate fitness in general, right? People think that they need to go to the gym 6 times per week. They need to have these crazy long 2-hour to 3-hour long training sessions. They need to do these weird as hell exercises. They need to do cardio. They need to consume all the supplements in the world, etc., etc., etc. You get the point, right? And they believe these things because they believe that all these different things will allow for them to get the results that they are wanting to see inside of the gym. But that could not be farther from the truth, right? Because in this case, more does not equal better. If anything, in fitness, less equals more, particularly inside the training portion of things. This couldn't be farther from the case, so fitness is actually quite more simple than all of that. But we think in order to get the results that we desire, we need to do all these crazy hard things. I forget who I heard it from, but it was a fitness coach or a fitness influencer. I listened to quite a few, but they were telling a story on how they were coaching their clients, and the coach recently started their client who was like about 50, maybe in their 40s or something. They started their client on their training regimen, right? And they haven't done anything in the gym in general, so it was kind of their first time trying to get in shape, and just better their health overall. And then so the coach made them do a pretty simple plan, right? They were in and out of the gym within 30 to 45 minutes. They did about 4 exercises, and the client told his coach, wait, that's it? Because he did not feel like he worked hard enough. And then the coach said, you don't need to do all these crazy different exercises, these different things. If anything, we need to start off small and work our way up to, what is most sustainable for you, what is most comfortable for you, right? Because some people, when they start off going to the gym, it's best for them to start off small. So they have, let's say, for example, if you have someone who is able to dedicate going to the gym 4 times per week, but they're just new to the gym, it's wise for them to start off going twice per week first, and then gradually working their way up to going 4 times per week. Because when you go from 0 to 100 right off the bat, that's not sustainable at all whatsoever. And so that's why you want to take these incremental steps and work your way up to 100, so that way it's sustainable, it's actually enjoyable, and you are making progress along the way. So some food for thought, right? Because people think we need to do all these crazy hard things in order to get the results that we desire inside of the gym. But that's not true at all whatsoever. Mentally, it's like we're hardwired to think that way. We need to bust our ass off. We need to work. This is just a different example, not gym related, but we need to work 50, 60, 70 hours per week to get the results that we want. But most of us, inside those 50, 60, 70 hour work weeks, we're doing half-ass shit, right? We're just kind of clicking around our computer or doing tasks that are not essentially getting us closer to where we want to be income-wise or promotion-wise or whatever it is that we want to strive for as far as our finances and career goes. So that's why we need to work smarter, not just harder, right? I mean, there's both work smarter and harder, but in this case, we need to work a little bit more smarter than we do harder. And that's a great point that I actually almost missed here. But the fact that we're hardwired in that way actually drives us away from our goal instead of to our goal. And again, this goes back to the sustainability portion of things. If we work so hard that we end up getting burned out or we end up wanting to quit, that drives us farther away from our goals. And that's when we start to feel like our goals are unattainable, unreachable, and we start to lose hope, essentially. So let me go over the three super simple pillars of fitness, because these are the only three pillars that you need to focus on, that you really need to worry about. And that's it. Everything else is just noise that you don't need whatsoever. And so you might be asking yourself, like, three pillars, that's it to fitness. Holy shit. It's actually quite more simple or more simplistic than I thought. And yes, that's the point. Things don't have to be this overcomplicated jumble of a mess. So the three pillars to focus on is training, nutrition, rest, and recovery. That's it. So let's start with training first. With training, let's unravel the training myths first. You do not need to train 6 times per week. Just get that out of the way. You do not need to train 2 hours long or for 2 hour long, right? For 2 hours long. What the hell? Cannot speak today. You do not need to train for 2 hours plus, right? Inside of the gym, inside of each of your training sessions. And you also don't need to do these weird ass exercises. Like, for example, I see people like doing squats on the balance ball, whatever it's called. You don't need to do stuff like that to gain muscle. You need to stick to the basics. That's it. So what you do need to do is the following. Take out a piece of paper, pencil or pen, jot this down, pause the video if you need to. But this is what you need to be doing inside of your training sessions. Find out how many times per week you can dedicate to the gym. It doesn't matter if it's 2, 3, 4, or 5 times per week, but it does not have to be 6. What matters the most is that you pick the number of days per week that you are able to go to the gym that is sustainable for you and that you can actually fit inside your lifestyle. So if you're a parent, if you work a 9 to 5, if you go to school, if you have other responsibilities to get to, and you can only dedicate 3 or 2 times per week to the gym, that's okay. What matters the most is that you're being consistent within those 2 to 3 times per week that you're actually going to the gym. That's what matters most. As far as your training sessions, the way to make your training sessions 30 to 60 minutes and not these 2-hour long crazy fucking training sessions that you don't need at all, you need to pick 4 to 6 exercises and do 2 sets per exercise for 6 to 8 reps with picking a moderate weight. And you will be training with more intensity. You'll be focusing more on the intensity part of things as you train, right? Until you cannot do 1 full rep anymore. Hence why we're picking a moderate weight and doing it for 6 to 8 reps. 6 to 8 reps, not 6 to 8 reps. Because I find that if we pick a moderate weight that's not too heavy but also not too light, where we can really focus on the form or technique, and essentially train with that intensity, then we should hit failure by rep 6 or 8, right? One of the two. As long as you're trying hard, as long as you're exerting yourself, that's what matters most. And of course, the final point that's not on here that I always talk about in my other videos, progressive overload. Once you do reach the top rep range of 8 reps for a given exercise, bump up the weight by 2.5 to 5 pounds of that given exercise and repeat the cycle. Do it for 2 sets, 6 to 8 reps, with perfect form, perfect technique. And then once you reach that top rep range, increase the weight gradually once more. Because progressive overload is essentially the foundation for hypertrophy training. And that's something you need to make sure that you do if you are wanting to gain muscle, and make your training sessions count as well. Now, moving on to nutrition. Let's unravel the nutrition myths first. You do not need to consume 50 different types of supplements. If anything, most supplements out there are a waste of money and a waste of time. Not including multivitamins. I think those are important. Melatonin is good if you have a hard time sleeping at night. Protein powder is great, and creatine is fantastic as well. So those are kind of like the 4 main ones. I'm probably missing some, but those are the 4 main ones that I personally take sometimes. Mostly protein powder and creatine is what I take on a day-to-day basis, or what I consume on a day-to-day basis. And you really don't need anything more than just that, right? Because everything else is just a bunch of bullshit, in my opinion at least. Specifically with the fat-burning supplements. It's stupid. In my opinion. You do not need to eat 6,000 calories to gain weight and gain muscle. You do not need to eat bland foods to get in shape. And you do not need to cut out your favorite cheat meals or junk foods to get fit. What you need to do is the following. So these are the things that you need to focus on when it comes to the nutrition pillar. please make sure to get out a piece of paper, pen, make sure to jot this down. But if you are looking to build muscle and gain weight, you need to eat 3 to 500 calories above your maintenance. If you are someone who's looking to lose fat, then eat 3 to 500 calories below your maintenance. So this way, you can essentially see if that 3 to 500 calories that you're eating above or below your maintenance is good enough for you to gain weight or lose weight. And if you don't gain weight and if you don't lose weight, then either add or subtract an additional 3 to 500 more calories. You also need to make sure you're eating 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight that you weigh. You need protein. There's no getting around that, just because it is essentially a very important amino acid that you need, so that way it can repair, rebuild your muscle, especially after training so hard. Implement your favorite foods every now and then, but don't overdo it. So what I mean by this is, like, if you want to treat yourself once or twice per week to your favorite meal, your cheat meal, whatever it is, do so. You can also strategically implement your favorite junk foods on a day-to-day basis, as long as you're still meeting your calorie and macro goals. So what I mean by this is, if, for example, you're craving Oreos, then look at how many calories you have to spare for the day. If you need to take something out so that way you can fit the Oreos inside your eating for the day. So that's what I mean by strategically putting in your junk foods on a day-to-day basis into your eating, incorporating them into your eating. Look up tasty recipes online as well, so that way you can actually learn how to cook, how to season your foods, how to make chicken more juicy, how to make steak more juicy, how to cook vegetables and actually make them appetizing for you. Because you need your veggies. You cannot exclude your veggies, just so you know. And then most importantly as well, weigh yourself once per week to see if you are actually progressing. This is the most important part in my opinion, just because you want to see if you're gaining weight or losing weight. Obviously not every week is going to be perfect, because there's just different variables that come into place. But for the most part, you should get a rough estimation or rough understanding if you are gaining or losing weight with what you're doing. And just so you know as well, there's going to be a certain point where you do plateau in weight. So whether you're losing or eating weight, there's going to be losing or gaining weight, there's going to be a point where you stop gaining weight or losing weight, regardless if you are eating in a surplus or in a deficit. And so that's when you need to either add or subtract more calories. So I usually say add or subtract 300 to 500, because that is the sweet spot where it's not overly drastically a huge change in calories, and it's just a really good small number where it's super sustainable and still enjoyable as well. Rest and recovery, this is actually the most simplest slide ever. You just need to sleep 7 hours per night. That's just it. And yes, naps are included inside that sleep number or sleep time. So for example, if you slept 6 hours last night, but you took an hour-long nap, that counts. So you slept 7 hours for that day, or last night, technically speaking. But yeah, definitely make an effort to sleep 7 hours plus per night. The more sleep, the better. I mean, you don't want to overdo it, of course, because I'm sure you guys have different responsibilities. 8 to 9 hours is perfect, just so that way you give your body a chance to recover, to recharge its batteries. Especially if we are training with intensity, we need to make sure our batteries are charged, so this way we can exert ourselves for the next training session ahead. You don't need to do all these crazy different things like ice baths. You don't need to go to a sauna on a day-to-day basis. You don't need to take hot, warm baths, whatever, right? I mean, you can do those things. Those things are beneficial in their own respective ways, but you don't need to do that every day, right? Every now and then is okay, but the most important thing is getting good quality sleep, and that's it. And like I mentioned before about the melatonin, the supplement, if you need to use that to get good sleep, do it. I know there's different other supplements out there that really promote or help with sleep, so check out whichever one works best for you, especially if you are someone who has a hard time going to bed at night. That does cover it for the video for today, though, guys. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see next in terms of a video topic, and I'd be happy to make it for you all. And once more, the link for one-to-one coaching will be down below in the description, so check that out. Other than that, though, have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Take care. Much love to you all, and until the next one.